Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode here in NHL 23. So in last episode, we took on the Colorado Avalanche in the first round of the playoffs, and unfortunately we lost in only 5 games, which kind of sucked. But last season, basically Asher Vance definitely showed that he is going to be worth his contract that we gave him, which starts this upcoming season. He had a really great regular season with like 40 something goals, wasn't it? Yeah, 47 goals, so almost a 50 goal season at the age of 21, which is pretty impressive. And then in the playoffs, he was also actually pretty good despite us losing in 5 games. He had 8 points in that span. Holton also had like 7 points, and same with Byfield. So a lot of our younger guys are still doing really well. It's just about getting that depth scoring, I think, a little bit better. Also being a little bit better defensively. Once guys like Recchi and stuff like that start to jump up a lot more, and overall, this team is going to be even better, and hopefully we could get ourselves a Stanley Cup in the process. Also, we need goaltending definitely to be much better, because as you can see, our goaltending was definitely not that good in that first round. Then again, Colorado is a pretty good offensive team, so maybe those numbers are a little bit inflated. But anyways, before we get into the draft and resign stage, I do have one comment to go over, and that is from HockeyGuy88. He says, "Sucks that you couldn't make it too far. That said, I would take Lowry with your first pick. I would also say you could afford to lose Girard, since he doesn't seem to really fit with the new system," which is true. I think Sam Girard is definitely gone. Kind of because he was replaced by Cale Makar in a sense, because we already have like now 3 offensive defensemen, so if we let him go, we'll be down to 2. And yeah, Cale Makar is basically the replacement for him on the offensive front, so we don't really need Sam Girard anymore, because Korchinski's also an offensive defenseman. So I think it would make more sense if we had ourselves, like if we could pick up ourselves in a free agency or something like that, like maybe like a right-handed shutdown defenseman. I think our team would be much better, or we could find a left-handed shutdown defenseman to play with Makar or something like that. But I do think we need a defensive defenseman, because we have a lot of like two-ways and offensive guys. We just need somebody that could actually play a lot more defense than offense and that type of thing. Because our goaltending isn't terrible, but if we pick up like a better shutdown defender, the goaltending should do a lot better. Like I think it was okay during the regular season, right? Never mind, actually. Yeah, Kamesa wasn't really that great during the regular season, and then Tarasov was really good during the regular season, so we need Kamesa to be a bit better than he's been being in the last few years. But if we bring in a good defensive defenseman, maybe his numbers will improve a little bit. And yeah, if we have a lack of less offensive defensemen, that should also improve the team's defensive play a little bit too. So I think Sam Girard is more likely gone this offseason, just because Cale Makar has basically replaced him. And he was saying about taking Lowry with our pick in the draft, which I believe was the medium elite defensive defenseman that I was looking at. I could be wrong. Let me check my pin, because I more than likely have him pinned. Oh, yeah, definitely was. He is a left-handed defenseman, but he is that pure DFD. He has medium elite potential, which is nice. He's 3 years out, so he'll be an NHLer by the time he's 21, apparently, and he's also a gem. He's a perfect pick for this team, I think, and he's definitely somebody I'd like to get into our lineup in the next few years, and hopefully he could be that type of guy that we need to be for our defensive core. Because if we could get a nice like defensive defenseman that actually keeps the puck out in the net and all that type of thing, our team will do much better probably in the playoffs, because you need to have like kind of a good balance of like two ways, offensive defenseman and DFDs. So yeah, that's basically that. And yeah, let's get into this draft, and then we'll get into the resign stage and set up for free agency for next episode. But I am very excited to see what this team does next season. Like, I'm very excited to see what Asher Vance could do in the first year of his 8-year deal. He had 47 goals this year already, so I feel like he should hit 50 or more next season. And hopefully he jumps up in potential to franchise at some point, because that would be pretty nice. So we have the 17th overall pick, so we should be able to get Lowry, unless for some reason the AI takes him early, which hopefully is not the case, because that would be pretty annoying. But let's take a look at the top 5 in this year's draft. Dallas is going to take Burnett, who is the 83 sniper for medium franchise. Looks like a pretty good player. Also, for some reason, his name just feels like a Dallas Stars player, Blake Burnett. I don't know why. But yeah, this guy's going to be a pretty good shooter for sure. Like, his shooting category is already almost 93s across the board, which is kind of nuts. Like, once that offensive awareness jumps up to like a 92, this guy's going to be probably battling with Vance in terms of goal scoring in the league, my guess. maybe even better than Vance because he's a franchise potential. So it should be interesting to see like who finishes with more goals, if it's a high elite or a medium franchise that finishes with more goals in their careers. But I guess we'll find out about that by the end of the series. San Jose at number 2 is going to take Jacina, who is a 79 overall medium elite power forward. Wasn't it? Yeah, power forward. This guy's got some pretty good shooting, as normal power forwards do. He's got the good physical attributes. Prototypical power forward. His offensive awareness is kind of low, to be honest, but if that does improve, he should be able to pick up some points. So there's Benjamin Jacina for the Sharks. Montreal at number 3 is going to take Parks, who is a 78 medium elite sniper. Sylvain Parks. That's an interesting name. Like, it's like an English last name and a like French first name. If this guy's from Quebec, it makes sense that Montreal would draft him, though. But there's a look at him. Looks like he's going to be also a pretty good shooter. Rangers at number 4 are going to take Earl, who's a 75 medium elite grinder. That's an interesting one. Yeah, that is a really interesting one. I don't think I've seen a medium elite grinder go in the top 5 in a while. Lucas Earl. Huh. More defensively minded. Yeah, this guy's going to be a good defensive player, but also going to take, obviously, a lot of penalty minutes. He's got no contest. He's got bounce back, shrug it off, and truculence. Interesting. So the Rangers have themselves a future Sean Avery, maybe. Who knows? And Detroit at number 5 is going to take Laflamme, who is a two-way 78 overall defenseman. Interesting. Good shot power on this guy. Not the best offensive awareness, so this guy's more defensively minded, but he should be able to pick up some assists with these X factors that he has. So there is Georges Laflamme. Surprised that Montreal didn't take that guy based on his name. But let's sim to our pick at number 17 and grab ourselves Lowry. Champion goes to Ottawa. Interesting. Let's take a look at the other picks before our picks for a little bit extra time into this episode, just to see if there's any good steals here, which it doesn't look like it. Yeah, there was a high top 6 that went 6th overall, but afterwards it's just mostly medium top 4s and stuff like that. But there's like another grinder that went in the top 10. Loktionov, 75. Interesting. Hey, there's another grinder. Damn, 3 grinders in the top 15. A lot more physical players than I thought there would be in this draft. So yeah, we're definitely going to go here with Gordon Lowry. Obviously, he's got the better potential than every player in this first round that is supposed to go next. But also, I don't really think we need more forward help. It's more about finding somebody to help us out defensively. So Gordon Lowry, welcome aboard to the Chicago Blackhawks. He's a 62 overall out of the draft. That's actually pretty solid. And he does not have any X factors, it looks like, unfortunately, but he is good defensively. He's got good shot power as well, and his accuracy is not terrible. Like, he might be able to pick up some goals based on that power. But overall-wise, this guy's pretty well balanced. His offensive awareness is really bad, though, so he should be probably a pure DFD at this point. I don't know if I'm going to sign him to his ELC yet. I might wait for you guys to give me some suggestions if we should sign him for next episode. He honestly could probably play in the AHL right away, but I might wait till he's like a 70 plus first before we end up doing that. So maybe wait a year, let him play in the United States for an extra year, and then he could come over, play a year in the AHL, and then hopefully he's NHL ready in the next few seasons. Let's sim to our next pick at number 49. What are we going to take here in the second round? Maybe we should go for more defensemen. Oh, Clifford Schwartz actually looks kind of intriguing. 3 years out, looking like medium top 4 potential. It looks like he could be pretty good in terms of offense. Like, he looks like he might have goal scoring as a defenseman, which is interesting. He also could be a medium top 60, but he's looking closer to being a medium top 4, which I think is better than taking a medium top 9 at the stage. Who else did I have pinned? And if there's any from this stage... Oh, there was this offensive defenseman that could be low elite too, that I might take in the 7th round, but I'm not going to take him here. Yeah, I think I got to go with Clifford Schwartz here. He's also a right-handed defenseman, so it's kind of nice because it's kind of hard to find sometimes right-handed defenders, so I will take Clifford Schwartz. Why not? He's not a big player, so I can't call him Clifford the Big Red Dog, unfortunately, but I could call him Clifford the Small Red Dog or something like that. I don't know. 62 overall, medium top 6. God damn it, I was hoping he'd be a medium top 4. He looked like he was going to be a medium top 4, but 62 overall is still pretty solid. That's as good as Lowry is out of the draft as well. So And he is an offensive defenseman, interestingly enough. So maybe we have a future OFD for this team. He looks actually not that bad. Like, he could probably be a good AHL player if he doesn't reach that top 6 potential. But there is Clifford Shorts. Let's see what we could get in round 3. I don't remember if we have all our picks in this draft or not. I should probably take a look at that. There's a low 4 that's listed as a gem. He's an OFD, so I feel like I should be probably taking him just based on the fact that I drafted the low top 4 before in our Houston series back in NHL 22, and that was Griffin. And wow, okay, this guy looks pretty good. Yeah, this guy looks pretty good. I know he is 19, but he does have good shooting, good puck skills, good senses. 3 years out for a low top 4. Like, if this guy becomes a really good AHLer, that's even fine. But if this guy becomes a good NHLer, that would be even better. And him being an OFD, I like that as well. Like, I know we have a lot of offensive defensemen at the moment, but we do need people that could replace, like, Hale McCarr once he retires and all that type of thing. So, yeah, I think I got to go with Leo Albrecht here from Germany. Why not? He looks pretty good. And he's a low top 4, 66 overall, so not too bad for a 19-year-old. No X factors again, but his offensive attributes are pretty good. He's got the awareness that's up to a 79. If that gets up to like a 90, this guy's obviously going to pick up points. He's got passing that's already at an 80. And then his shooting's also not that bad already. He's not very physical, which makes sense for an OFD. Yeah, this guy actually could end up being something decent. He also wears number 65, so maybe he's going to be like the next Erik Karlsson or something. But I like that pick. Even though we've been drafting a lot of defenders, I like that pick. I don't need Kajula. No thank you there, Philadelphia. Let's see what we can get here. We should probably try and find ourselves a forward, at least in this draft. But this draft seems to be pretty defensive heavy, it seems like, just based on the fact that there doesn't seem like there's any super good players on offense. Like, Dublowitz is a low top 9, that's 5 years out. I don't really want to take that. Bass might be intriguing. 4 years out. 19 years of age, though. Clefbaum's already 20, and he's 4 years out. Huh. Yeah, I feel like I should probably go with a forward here. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a forward at this point, which means I think I might go with Bass. He's probably going to end up being like low top 9, I guess, but those puck skills and shooting, if that is accurate, that's pretty good. Like, he's got good character and work ethic, and his passing ability might be a strength as well. So, yeah, let's take Jeremy Bass here. Why not? Take a chance on another overager. Medium top 9, 59 at 19 is not great, but maybe he becomes something at the AHL level. That offensive awareness is pretty trash, but he's got good passing already, and then his shooting's not terrible either, so he might be okay at the AHL level. But in general, this draft class is not too strong, so despite us getting a medium elite in the first round, so maybe we go for another forward. Moroza, 4 years out at 20, though. Yeah, don't like that he's already 20. There's a lot of overagers in this draft, it seems like, which isn't great. We got to probably just find ourselves like a random steal here. I know I'm going to take that guy in the 7th round. Do we have a 7th rounder? Let me just make sure on that front, because I don't want to end up losing the chance at getting a low elite. Yes, we have picks in every single round still, okay. So we could take a chance on somebody random here. The question is, who is going to be that random choice? I don't really want to go with a 20-year-old, because if they're 5 years out and they're 20, they're going to only make it once they like turn 25. Let's just look through some people's categories in terms of like shooting and whatnot. Maybe we'll find a steal that way. This guy has no weakness. He's a defenseman though as well. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, it's hard to find steals in these later rounds, especially in terrible drafts. Gauthier Leduc lacks size but has good shooting and goal scoring. But he's a defenseman as well. I've drafted already so many defenders. I just want to take that low lead, and that's it for defenders. But it seems like it's a defense-heavy draft. This Healy guy that's 20 years old that's supposed to go undrafted looks interesting, but I don't think he's going to make it. Like, he's got good physical and shooting. And he's 4 years out potentially, but that's it. He's a pretty big guy, so maybe I'll just give a chance on a random guy that's supposed to go way undrafted. You know what? Let's do it. Healy, welcome aboard. 7th D. Ew. That is the worst potential you could get almost. Low 7th D. Yikes. Well, there's a random pick, but he did have good shooting, so who knows? Who knows? Some of these guys might randomly pan out. Okay, so I guess right here is where we'll actually take the lowly, just because we probably don't have an early pick in next round. So yeah, let's take Cameron Cavanaugh already. And he is the low elite, 60 overall. Wow, that's a lot higher than I actually expected him to be. Expected him to be like a project player, kind of like a 48 to a 55. But a 60 overall out of the draft is pretty good. He's a two-way as well, which is kind of nice because I didn't really want him to be a Piro FD. But yeah, this guy should be pretty good. Like, he should be able to play in the AHL within the next year or so if he gets a lot of development after one season. But I do really like that pick. Always good to help out our defensive core for the future. And our last pick of the draft, can we find a really random steal here? There's a goalie with the last name Hasek. That's interesting. 5 years out, though. Maybe a low elite power forward. Probably not. 5 years out at 18 is not as bad as 5 years out at 20. Esteban Chan. Yeah, I don't think we're going to find ourselves a random steal here, but you never know. Ruben Ramsey, no strength, no weakness probably. This guy's looking like a low top 6, but 5 years out at 19. Yeah, I really don't know what we want to go with at this point. I might just go honestly with Combs here, since he's 2 bars up, I think. He's got no weakness apparently, so well-rounded players are better than none. So yeah, let's just take Dominic Combs here. Why not? He's a low top 6, 55 overall power forward. He's probably not going to make it, but maybe it becomes something at the AHL level if he develops into that kind of role that we sign players in usually. So there's our draft. I would say a pretty successful draft. We get Lowry, who's that medium elite. Then we get a couple other defenders like Schwartz, Albrecht. We picked up a couple forwards as well, like Bass and Combs. And then also we drafted Healy and Cavanaugh. Cavanaugh is going to be interesting, I think, for sure. So that was an okay draft. Not bad. Not the worst draft we've ever had, and definitely not the best either. But I will take it. Okay, let's get this scout back, and then we got the Resign stage, which should be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, we are going to be letting go of Sam Girard. That's the big one, and hopefully there's a good defensive defenseman in free agency that we could bring in to help out this team, because we should have the cap space to bring one in. So Potter, who we drafted last year, is up to a 68 at 18. He's getting some pretty good development. We actually have a lot of really good defensive prospects, so I do like that, because you can never have too many of them. Yeah, I like the way our prospect pool is coming along. Okay, let's go do RFAs here. And yeah, Brunstrom's going to want a lot of money, but I honestly might give him an 8-year deal, because 88 at 21 is pretty good. He's coming off 33 points, which is not bad. He had 4 points in 5 playoff games. He's pretty solid, I'd say. So I might honestly give him an 8-year deal if it's worth it. Which it honestly might be. And you know what? I might actually give him an 8-year deal. I might give him an 8-year deal. Let's qualify the rest of these RFAs. Even Olsen, even though I don't know if Olsen's going to be here long term, because he's kind of like a meh 4th liner. So we'll qualify him. Ratzlaff, we'll just give you your 2-way deal. Hopefully he can get to the NHL and be at least a backup for us. And we'll sign Mikkelsen up as well again. Let me go over to UFAs and see who we have on the bottom of this list. Okay, we got some guys that we need to bring into the AHL team. Solovyov's low elite. Skrbek is a 68 at 20, which is not bad for a 7th defenseman. He looks actually not that bad at all. But I don't think I'm going to give him a contract, just because I have a lot of other guys I need to always sign. So unless I let go of like Alex Vlasic, which I might end up doing. Yeah, I actually might end up doing that. Letting go of guys like Vlasic, because Vlasic's like a fringe NHLer. And yeah, Skrbek, I think he deserves an ELC, so we'll give him a contract. And I will let go of Vlasic for sure here. So Alex Vlasic is gone. Stenlund's going to be gone for now. He was just like a cap whale mostly, I think. Bales is going to get his ELC, which is very exciting, because he's a 78 at 19 as a top 6 forward prospect. And he's pretty much good enough to be in the NHL, I think, at this level. But I don't know if I will play him in the NHL yet. He just came off 117 points with Swift Current, so he might get a year in the AHL. But either way, this guy's developing quite well for a top 6 forward. Normally I have problems developing top 6 forwards, but he's had no problem developing so far. Carlson we're going to let go of as well. Regul's an interesting one. I might let go of Kachuk and Girard as well. Kind of like clean up our team a little bit. But let's give Brunstrom an 8-year deal, I think. Yeah, I think we're going to give an 8-year deal to Brunstrom. If we could do the 85% trick, which I think we should be able to, we should be able to get him on a steal of a contract, and I think that will be worth it because even though he's not picking up a super amount of points, it's locking up potentially like a top 2 defenseman for 8 years, which is pretty nice. So let me just do some calculations here on my phone. 7.8 times 0.85. We're looking at around 6.63, so not too much more than what he's asking for the normal amount. So like 6.65 for 8 years. I think that's pretty good for an 88 overall. Like, I'm not sure if it's all statistical or natural growth, but yeah, let's give Brunstrom that 8-year deal. I think he deserves it. And I wouldn't mind building up the future of our defensive core by locking up some guys. So, but do I want to bring back Alec Regula? He's been an okay player defensively at some stages. He had one really rough season, obviously, when everybody had a rough year. I think that was that year. 3 points in 5 playoff games ain't bad. He's a plus 12 in the playoffs, so he's actually pretty good defensively playoff-wise. He's only 27. Is there anybody that could replace him, though, in the lineup that we already have, or are we going to have to find ourselves somebody in free agency? So we got 1-2 locked up. Potentially Girard's going to be gone. We're going to still need, yeah, that shutdown defenseman, but then we'd have Edvinsson. Yeah, maybe we should bring back Regula, or we could find a new top 6 defender instead. What is he asking for out of curiosity? 1.2, that's nothing. Even if he plays as like a depth defender for us, that's not bad. Yeah, I think I am going to bring back Alec Regula on a 1-year deal. See if he'll accept that. And then Sam Girard is going to be definitely gone. He wants a lot of money too, and obviously, like I was saying, we don't really need him. Like, his defensive play is not really that great. Obviously, he was a minus 73 that one season out. Everybody was so bad. Yeah, Sam Girard is gone because he's been replaced by Cale Makar, basically. So, best of luck in free agency there, Sam. Thank you for your time here, and hopefully you have a good rest of your career wherever you go. So there is Sam Girard gone. I do think also Boris Kachuk might be gone. He's not a bad bottom sixer, though, because he's picked up some decent amount of points. Like 52 points, not bad, and a plus 15. Playoff-wise, 3 points in his last 12 games isn't that good, though. Yeah, I think I'm going to let go of Kachuk for now as well. We could probably find a replacement. Also, with Bales on the uprise, I don't really want to have somebody in. Like, if Bales is an 80 by next season and listed as a 4th liner, I want him in over Kachuk, you know. So, we will let go of Kachuk as well. And I wouldn't mind bringing back Tarasov, I think, because I don't think there's any other goalies we have at the moment that I could use. Yeah, we'll bring back Tarasov. He's been a really solid backup. We'll do another 1-year deal. He barely wants anything every single year as well, so we'll keep bringing him back until we don't really need him. And let's advance today and see if everybody accepts. So Tarasov rejects it, so he wants more money, I guess. We'll just go through the rest of this quickly, and everybody on the UFA front is accepted except for Tarasov. And we did get Brunstrom back on that 8-year deal, which is awesome. It's great to see. And we have only 18 million in cap space, but let's try and get Tarasov a little bit more money. He's definitely worth the money he was making last year. So let's give him 2 million for 1 year as the backup. And then the rest of these guys shouldn't eat up too much cap space. We might need to trade somebody out in order to get ourselves a really good top 4 defensive defenseman, but we'll see what's out there if there is anything in free agency or trade-wise, because we could make trades this offseason. So, okay, Tarasov is accepted. That's perfect. We do have ourselves our backup goaltender. So let's take a look at what our roster looks like at the moment. Obviously, Olsen would be in our lineup as well. But let's take a look at what we got here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 forwards so far. 9, 10 forwards if Bales. 11, 12, 13 with Hayes. So we might be good on the forward count, to be honest, unless we want to pick up one more depth forward. But I wouldn't mind playing Bales in the NHL this year, but I could always use him in the AHL for 1 year and not rush him in a sense, because he would probably just be getting 4th line time. So, yeah, maybe we pick up a couple pieces in terms of like 4th line / depth. Defensively, though, like I was saying, we have Makar, Brunstrom, which is pretty good. Korchinski needs a top 4 DFD to play with him probably, or play it with Makar. And then we have Edvinsson and Regula on our top 6. So our top 6 pair's a little bit weak, but we have a lot of good depth as well. And then goalie-wise, it's going to be still Komesso and Tarasov. So I don't think we really need a whole lot free agency-wise except for that top 4 defenseman. If we could find a DFD, maybe we'll trade for one. Maybe we'll sign one in free agency if there is one out there, which I am hoping that is the case. Olsen is already accepted. That's good news. So we got Olsen back, which actually means we have 14 forwards. So yeah, I'll probably let Bales just play in the AHL for a year. I don't really want to rush him into that 4th line role, and then he just does not pick up points and doesn't develop from there on, right? So let's take a look at free agents and the trading block, and I think that'll be it for this episode at that point. So let's see what we got. Wow, Trevor Zegras is a free agent, huh? Not that I need any forwards, but still, or any top-notch forwards, I should say. So Zegras is out there, Shen, Tavares. Some pretty solid centers, but obviously we don't really need any top-notch talent in terms of offense. Like, we probably need more of like a depth forward type of guy. Maybe somebody like Jan Unique. Yeah, Jan Unique might be interesting. I'd definitely say he's definitely an option out there. He's only an 81, which is not bad for a 27. Soderblom's also out there if we want a big boy like Elmer. He's got good offensive awareness and stuff like that. Might fit our 3rd line. But this is if we want to pick up somebody to jump into the lineup or be a depth piece. Logan Stankoven's even there as a UFA. Yeah, there's actually some options out there already. That's good to see. Clayton Keller, Brady Tkachuk. Obviously, we don't need those big talents, but still, those guys are out there. For depth forward type of things, there's Dorofeyev. I don't really want to sign guys that are 36 that could just randomly drop off. I would rather like a 27-year-old or 26-year-old, like even Cooley. What about right wing wise? Wow, Nikita Kucherov, damn. Yeah, this is a pretty good free agent pool. Patrick Kane's back in free agency, that's funny. Bobby Brink is even a decent one, but he's listed as a 3rd liner, which is unfortunate because I don't really know where I could slot him in then in terms of that. Yeah, there's some good young guys out there. And then defensively, if we want a top 4 shutdown DFD, well, I mean, Victor Hedman's out there, but he's a 2-way, and I want a DFD preferably. Like, Hedman would be nice, but we would probably prefer a DFD. Ryan Graves is the best DFD that's out there right now, but he's 33. There's also Jet Wu, who's younger in the same overall, but I really don't know if Jet Wu is what we want. He's a right-handed defenseman as well, which is interesting. He does potentially fit into our top 4. How does he simulate? Plus 29 a few years ago is not bad. Plus 32 in the AHL. 30 goals and 25 assists. So he's a goal-scoring DFD, it seems like. I don't know if Jet Wu is exactly what I'm looking for, but he is probably the best defensive defenseman out there. We might have to trade for one instead, because there's not like that guy like Brett Pesce was last year, which is unfortunate. We don't need goalies, so I'm not even going to risk looking at that because we don't need a goalie for sure. Let's take a look at the trading block and see what is out there, and then that'll be it for this episode. See if we can find ourselves a good shutdown DFT for the top 4. So Anderson, Matheson, and Anderson, the other Anderson. Jeez. That was a little bit of a tongue twister with the 3 sons. Interesting. None of those guys are defensive, though, I don't think. Oh, Anderson, this Axel Anderson is, but he's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for like a guy that's like 85, 86. That could be a defensive defenseman. Like, we could bring in Hedman, but I don't know if Hedman's the type I want because he's 2-way. I want more of a shutdown, like, pure guy that's just like there to block shots, throw hits, and that's it. Kind of like an Ilya Babushkin, but a lot better, you know. Lekanen, no thank you. Nishushkin, Schmaltz, Kaut, Vitrano, and Niederreiter. Damn, Colorado is offloading everything after they beat us in the 1st round. Interesting. Oh man, Zach Werenski re-signed for 6 years. He was on a 1-year deal at one point. Lucas Raymond, geez, that would be a nice player to bring in, but obviously he's a 2-way forward, which is kind of weird. I don't know why he's listed as a 2-way. I feel like he's more of a sniper than anything. More forwards. What else we got here? Nothing there. Chris Kreider, Raquel, Costin. Looks like more forwards than anything. Don't want Seth Jones back here. He's a two-way defender and he's dropping. Yanni Gord. What else we got? Not really a lot in terms of defense. It's literally every team has forwards on the block, it seems like. Cam Fowler, but he's dropping off a lot. There's not really that defenseman out there unless we take a look at just players around the entire league that aren't even on the block to try and trade for. But I prefer to trade for somebody usually on the block just because it's more realistic in that sense. Matt Duchene. Yeah, there's not a lot of defenders on the block. That's interesting. Let's take a quick look at just like the top DFTs in the league and see if there's anybody on expiring contracts that could get moved out. That way you guys have some suggestions for other players we could trade for potentially. And then, yeah, then that'll be it for this episode at that point. So if we look at defenders, we look at top 4 defensemen. And we look for somebody that's a DFD, preferably right-handedness, but it doesn't actually really matter that much. Minimum age, I would say probably like, let's say like 24 and say to like, I don't know, maybe like 30. Yeah, 24 to 30 should be decent. And yeah, that should be good. Well, actually, let's go with 1 year left as well on their contracts. Or actually, let me go to 0 and then this down to 1. So that way we can find people on expiring deals. Okay, we only have 2 people that are on expiring deals. Well, one of them is a free agent right now, and then there's Faravari. Let me just change the contract stat thing, because the contract thing doesn't really matter too much. Let's just go contract max. Let's go 2 years instead. Still only those 2. Why are those 2 only showing up? Let's just go any defensive defenseman. There we go. Any defensive defenseman, let's sort by overall. Why is Jet Wu the top defensive defenseman almost in the entire league? Or that's in that age range. Let's just lower or up the age range and stuff like that a little bit. Try and get as much players as possible to look at. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's see. Adam Pellick's on 1 year left. Adam Pellick. Adam Pellick would be the guy. I don't know if the Islanders are that good, but Adam Pellick would probably be the guy. There's also Carlo, but he's got 2 years. And then it's Jet Wu. So probably Adam Pellick would be the best option. I don't know how good the Islanders are right now. I'd have to probably look after the recording, but he's like a pure defensive defenseman. Should be blocking a lot of shots, right? And throwing hits. Yep. Yeah, he's pretty good defensively, at least in real life. I don't know how he is in this game, but the Islanders have not made the playoffs in this franchise mode at all. Unless Adam Pellick's been scratched in the playoffs, but yeah, Adam Pellick could be the guy we could trade for. The thing is, I don't know what the Islanders would want for somebody like Adam Pellick. Like, how much trade value does he have? Quite a bit. Like, basically on their matching their block, what would they want? They would want like a good prospect at least, so we'd have to give up like somebody like Bobkov in the deal. Probably. Yeah, we'd have to probably give up like Bobkov. We'd have to give up probably our first round pick maybe this year, or a second rounder. Yeah, probably like a first rounder would get Adam Pellick, but I don't know if it's worth it. But he's the best defensive defenseman in the league, it seems like, at this stage. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. So in the next episode, we will take it to free agency. We might make some signings. We might make some trades. And then we'll start up the season simulation and see how Asher Vance does in his first year under his 8-year contract. We'll also see how guys like Recchi do in his first full season in the NHL. It should be interesting to see what this team does ahead. So let me guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.